What a way to start the new year. Absolutely starting it off with a big bang. There goes David Gandler and Fubo and Bob Iger and Disney and Jimmy Pitaro over at ESPN, just absolutely making waves. And you were trying to figure out what was going to happen here. It certainly looked like Fubo had the upper hand, seeing what was coming out of the courts, but at the same time, again, the news dropped on what is known as Black Friday, Black Monday, the day when many a subscriber in the US cancels their subscription because their team in the NFL is now out and they no longer need to pay. So you often see the likes of Fubo and other subscription services see a huge boon in August, September, and then Black Monday comes the day after the 18th weekend of the NFL season, and boom, a whole bunch have gone. So from a financial perspective and timing perspective, certainly if you look at Fubo shares, couldn't have come at a better time for Fubo. Certainly sounds like everybody had a busy Christmas. But, to me, this is really interesting. You've solved an antitrust lawsuit by one party buying out the other, which from a pure legal perspective kind of sounds like the absolute definition of antitrust. Not quite sure how that gets resolved, although I think most people, from what I can tell, stateside are betting that under the next administration, antitrust will perhaps not be quite so rigorously enforced. So perhaps the sense is that this can now get done. Also, I think the fact that Fubo was doing well and having a strong business, given its January Black Monday, subscriptions would drop off, cash flows would be tough for a while, can probably make the argument to the lawyers and the judge that if they didn't do this, it might be difficult going forward. What does it also mean for ESPN? Well, it probably means that venue launches. Don't know when yet. Of course, there may be somebody else, some other amicus briefs that were being filed, others who may want to say, you know what, actually there is an antitrust. This is even now more so after Fubo have joined forces. So maybe somebody will take it up. I suspect it probably won't, and that we will see venue launch this year. Weirdly, it's one of those few times where you think consolidation may actually help the consumer because, once again, the streaming wars are here, but there's rights in so many different places. It's so difficult to find them, difficult for the consumer. So the whole point is to make life better for the consumer, both from a cost perspective, but also from a discovery perspective. And whilst there needs to be competition in the market, it being in so many different locations is just difficult to channel. So, ESPN is clearly going all in on streaming this year, buying Fubo to be part of the Hulu Plus Live TV. The launch of Flagship at some point this year. Now Venue Sports comes in. There's really no going back. And to date, ESPN has pretty much defended itself by spending an inordinate amount of money on media rights and protecting itself by creating a proper moat, but has generally kept that moat in a way where most of the sports rights that are the premium rights are kept on traditional broadcast and on their cable subscription and not actually on their streaming product. I think the launch of all these three products now this year at varying different price points, along with the cable subscription, will mean that they are all in on this. They will feel that they are now a proper streaming business. Maybe a bit like Disney Plus is an all-in Disney, all-in streaming business, and has now reached I don't know if it's a tipping point. And the economics, as my friend Roger Mitchell has pointed out, streaming business economics are not as good as the cable business economics, but let's look at what they've come up with. I think it's also going to be interesting to see what else happens in this space. Prior to Christmas, we saw the announcement that DAZN had bought Foxtel in Australia. That's a streamer buying somebody that's a more traditional broadcaster going the other way, but also has a very real streaming product in Australia. Will we see the Saudis take a view that the best way to own sports is maybe going the more traditional route and owning sports media rights and therefore owning the sports that way? And obviously there have been rumors in the past around them sniffing around the likes of beIN or DAZN itself. Maybe that's the launch pad for DAZN to make itself seem a bit more appropriate and a better price tag. We will see, but wow, what a start to the year. Kudos to everybody, because it sounds like the lawyers were caught out on the steps of the courthouse going, what's happened there? So well done for everyone keeping it under wraps over the Christmas break and Well done. What a start. It's going to be a busy year.